All right, so we've talked about the best champions in each class, right? But what if we bring it all together in one epic list? That's exactly what we're doing today. We're revisiting the top 5 champions for every single class in Marvel Contest of Champions, breaking it all down like we're chilling and talking shop. Let's get into it. Mutants in Marvel Contest of Champions are just built different. They've got some of the craziest abilities and insane power levels. Today, I'm breaking down my top 5 picks for the best mutant champions in the game right now. Now, this list is based on my opinion and some community favorites, so if you've got your own top picks, drop them in the comments. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Starting off at number 5, we've got Magneto. Before his buff, let's be honest, nobody even bothered using him. He was kind of a joke, but then the buff happened, and suddenly, Magneto became the go-to guy for anything metal. He's crazy strong now, especially against robots. It's like they don't even stand a chance. One special 3, and it's game over. Any fight with a metal champion? That's Magneto's playground. The only thing holding him back from being higher on the list is that he's not available as a 7-star yet, but even without that, he's still an absolute beast. Next up at number 4, we have the newly buffed Mr. Sinister. I don't even know where to start with this guy. Before his buff, he was decent. That regen on crit damage was nice, but that was about it. Now, he's insane. His damage is through the roof, and he's easily one of the best counters to Bullseye in the game. Plus, his degen damage is a massive bonus, because not many champions can deal with it. And the ability to pause debuffs by just charging a heavy? That's just crazy. He's got the damage, the utility, and the survivability to sit above Magneto for me. At number 3, we've got Domino. She's just straight up savage. I'd say she's kind of like Archangel, but with her own twist. While Archangel has neurotoxins for damage, Domino's strength lies in her insane defensive abilities. That critical failure mechanic? It's no joke. She can even shut down your masteries like dexterity. She's a nightmare to deal with, both on defense and offense. That's why she's sitting comfortably in the 3rd spot. Coming in at number 2, we have the OG god himself, Archangel. He's the definition of simple, yet deadly. If your opponent can bleed and be poisoned, it's game over. And if he's awakened, even better. His neurotoxins do insane damage and completely shut down abilities once you get 3 of them stacked. And let's not forget about the Apocalypse Horseman synergy. It takes him from amazing to absolutely broken. Archangel is just too good to leave out of the top 2. And finally, the undisputed king at number 1, Onslaught. Seriously, no one even comes close. This guy is a monster on both offense and defense, and he's probably the most balanced champion in the game. He dominates everywhere. Big fights, Necropolis, you name it. I've talked about him so much on the channel already, so you all know how crazy he is. Onslaught is just broken, plain and simple, and there's no way anyone else could take this spot. And that's my list for the top 5 mutant champions in Marvel Contest of Champions. What do you think? Did your favorite make the list, or do you have your own top picks? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you had a good time watching, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more Marvel Contest of Champions content, and I'll catch you in the next one on the top 5 Mystic Champions in Marvel Contest of Champions. Now, as always, this is based on my personal experience, what the community has been saying, and how these champs perform in the current meta. Got different picks? Let me know in the comments. Let's make it a fun discussion. Alright, let's get into it. Number 5, American Chavez. After her buff, she's just ridiculous. Honestly, she could probably be higher on this list, but hey, this is where she landed for me. She's got solid damage output, holds her ground as a defender. Oh yeah, she's one of the best serpent counters in the game. That power gain inversion, super clutch. Now, I'll be real, I haven't played her much myself, so this ranking is more based on what I've seen others do and how annoying she is as a defender. If you've got more tips or crazy stories with her, let me know in the comments. She's definitely a champ to keep your eye on. Next up at number 4 is Absorption Man, and this guy is just nuts. The big thing with him is learning how to deal with light interruptions. Once you nail that, he's an absolute wrecking ball. Personally, Magma form is my favorite because of the cold snap and incinerate immunity, but don't sleep on Uru form. The bleed and shock immunity, plus that physical resistance, make him tanky as heck. And when it comes to burst damage, this guy delivers. Chain your specials after the first hit of a heavy attack without stunning, and the opponent just melts. The only reason he's not higher is that he takes a bit of skill to master, but if you're good with him, he's lights out material. Sliding into the number 3 spot is Werewolf by Night, and yeah, he's as scary as he sounds. His damage source is ruptures, and in the current meta, not many champs can handle that. His howl mechanic is what sets him apart. Every time he howls, he gains power and charges, and when you hit 10 charges, game over. He goes into God mode, unstoppable, unblockable, and just relentless. Plus, his regeneration is top tier, making him one of the most durable Mystic champions around. This guy can bully opponents into the corner and keep them there. Definitely a champ you want on your roster. Coming in at number 2 is Juggernaut, and man, this buff turned him into an absolute monster. He's simple, effective, and just gets the job done. The gameplay? Build up 10 unstoppable buffs, drop that special 2, and watch the damage pour in. He's got stagger on his heavy attacks, reverse control immunity, and reduced damage from bleed and poison as long as his gem is active, which by the way, is super easy to maintain throughout the fight. And let's not forget, he's available as a 7-star, making him even more valuable. Juggernaut is a total game changer, and his buff is one of the best the game has seen. Finally, taking the top spot is Kushala, and it's no surprise. This champion is an absolute powerhouse in every way. Her utility is unmatched. Double immunity to bleed and incinerate, energy damage that counters Korg effortlessly, and blessings that heal block damage while allowing her to block all unblockable attacks. That's a game changer in any fight. Her damage output is just as crazy. She's got Incinerate as her main damage over time, but if that doesn't work, she's got Degen as a backup. Her special 2 with Soul Barb deals massive damage based on the opponent's buffs. What really puts her at the top is her dominance in the current meta. As the number 1 Serpent counter, she's essential for taking down the game's toughest defender. Kushala isn't just strong, she's versatile, fast, and perfectly built for the challenges we're facing right now. And there you have it. The top 5 Mystic champions in Marvel Contest of Champions. The skill class. Today, I'm sharing my top 5 skill champions, not just based on my picks, but also reflecting what the community thinks. Now, remember, this list is all about my perspective and what I've seen from others in the Marvel Contest of Champions community, so don't hold back. Drop your top 5 in the comments, and let's see how they stack up. Before we dive in, I've got a recommendation for you. I recently uploaded a video about the new January champions, Gentle and Okoye. If you're curious about their possible abilities, how their backstory connects to the game, and their potential synergies with Wakandan characters, make sure to check that video out too. The link is in the pinned comment and the description of this video. You won't want to miss it. Skill champions are all about mastery and execution, so let's dive into this lineup of crazy damage, insane mechanics, and top-tier abilities. Kicking things off at number 5, we've got Shang-Chi, the most skill-based skill champion in the game. This guy's gameplay is a masterclass. To really get those chi charges stacked, you need to bring everything to the table. Combos, heavy attacks, dexterity, you name it. It's a champion that rewards actual skill. And oh boy, that damage is just wild. If you've seen those one-hit KOs against Realm of Legends Wolverine, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Shang-Chi is pure insanity. Number 4, Crossbones. Guys, trust me on this. Crossbones is absolutely bonkers. The damage this guy puts out is straight up ridiculous. And here's the kicker, no critical hits, yet the numbers still hit like a truck. He's one of the most slept on champions in the skill class. People don't realize his full potential, but once you get a taste of it, you'll see why he made this list. Don't sleep on this monster, he's a hidden gem. Number 3, Bullseye. And I already know what you're thinking. Isn't he just a defender? Nope. Sure, he's an absolute menace on defense, but don't underestimate him as an attacker. His damage is legit, and that evade, it's hands down the safest in the game. Plus, let's not forget how dominant he is in defense. After Serpent, Bullseye is the top pick. This guy is seriously versatile and deserves a spot in the top 5. At number 2, Nick Fury. When the skill class was struggling, Nick Fury came in and completely turned things around. Even at signature level 1, his cheat death mechanic and massive fury buffs make him a game changer. His bleed damage is insane, one of the highest in the game, and you can even convert it into that sweet passive internal bleed effect. Oh, and if you're worried about counters, aside from Peony Parker, good luck finding one. Nick Fury is an all-time great in the skill class. Number 1, Kate Bishop. This champion is a straight-up beast, and if you haven't played her in high-end content like Necropolis, you're missing out. Her cold snap damage is off the charts. Just hit that SP2 with perfect release, and you're golden. It's simple, it's effective, and it's some of the highest damage output in the game. Kate Bishop is just built different, and she's earned this top spot. That wraps up my top 5 skill champions in Marvel Contest of Champions. Remember, this list is based on my opinions and community insights, so don't forget to drop your top picks in the comments. Let's keep the discussion going. All right, let's talk about the top 5 science champions in Marvel Contest of Champions. Now, before we get into it, just a heads up, this list is based on my opinion and what I've seen the community buzzing about. You might have your own favorites, and that's cool. Drop them in the comments so we can compare notes. Let's jump in. Starting off at number 5, we've got Titania. If I had to pick the 2 most annoying and powerful effects in the game, I'd say indestructible and unstoppable. Guess what? Titania's got both as passives, not buffs, which is crazy. And when those passives are active, you can eat special 3s from opponents like it's nothing. All you gotta do is charge a heavy attack, and boom, you're set. Sure, there's a cooldown, but if you know how to play her right, you can breeze through fights with a full yellow health bar. Oh, and she hits hard. Overall, she's a powerhouse, a super fun and solid champion to play. Coming in at number 4 is my guy, Hulk, my favorite Marvel character. When I first started playing, Hulk was a total meme. Like, yeah, you could get some decent damage, but you had to take damage yourself to make it happen. That was just dumb. But now, oh man, after his buff, Hulk's an absolute monster. He went from trash tier to god tier. Once he hits 15 Furies, it's lights out. He hits so hard, it's ridiculous. If you've got him awakened in high sig, he's even a pain on defense because his basic hits pack a punch, and that passive unstoppable is just savage. But even unawakened, he's a beast on attack. Stun lock your opponent, drop a special 3 to apply that physical vulnerability, and Hulk smash. Simple as that. At number 3, we've got Photon. She's been my Battlegrounds MVP lately. Bleed immunity, power steal immunity, untouchable abilities. She's loaded with utility. Whether I'm using her for attack or throwing her on defense, she always delivers. Her damage output is crazy, and her utility just makes her so reliable. Photon's definitely a beast mode champ who can handle almost anything you throw at her. Taking the number 2 spot is the one and only SpiderMan. This guy is just so good. His damage is insane, but what makes him a nightmare is his power stings. Those things are such a strong damage type, and hardly any champs can counter them. Plus, he keeps reapplying them, which is just hilarious to watch. Now slap a 6-star AntMan relic on him, and it's a wrap. That relic adds another power sting on the last hit and boosts his attack rating for the rest of the fight. You know what that means. More attack, more sting damage, and opponents just melt. Spider-Ham might be funny, but he's no joke in this game. And finally, taking the top spot at number 1 is Scorpion. No surprises here. This guy is just built different. He's got access to 3 damage over time effects: Poison, Rupture, and Shock, and you can choose which one to use at the start of the fight. And the best part? He's immune to the 2 you didn't pick. That's some next-level utility. Rupture immunity, especially, is super rare, and it's so clutch in certain matchups. My personal favorite thing about Scorpion is his healing. He just needs to be awakened. Even at Sig level 1, he's good to go. All around, Scorpion is a complete package. Easily the best science champion in the game right now. And that's my top 5 science champions in Marvel Contest of Champions. The Cosmic class. Now let's be real, the Cosmic champions are stacked, and narrowing it down to just 5 was no easy task. Quick heads up before we dive in. This list is based on my personal experience and a mix of community feedback. So if you've got a different ranking or your favorite champ didn't make the cut, let me know in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. All right, enough of the setup. Let's jump right into the top 5 Cosmic champions and see who's running the Cosmic game right now. Kicking off the list at number 5, we've got Maestro. First of all, just getting this guy is a badge of honor. You've got to clear the Necropolis, and trust me, that's no walk in the park. But once you've got him, he's a total game changer. Let's talk about defense, because this is where Maestro earns his spot. He's a tank with a massive health pool, and his glancing ability is the stuff of nightmares. Seriously, it's one of the most annoying mechanics to face. For almost a full minute, it feels like you're fighting a brick wall. All you can do is wait for that effect to wear off, and let's be honest, that sucks. Offensively, he's decent, but he's a monster on defense. If you've got Maestro sitting in your roster, don't sleep on him. He's the kind of champ who can make even the best players feel helpless. Definitely worthy of that top 5 spot. Coming in at number 4 is Serpent, one of the most busted champions in the entire cosmic class. Let me say it, this guy is a god-tier defender. Here's why he's so broken. First, his special attacks can't be evaded. Not even dexterity works. Add in a node that makes him unblockable, and you're in for one of the most frustrating fights ever. Think about it. You can't dex, he's unblockable. That's nightmare fuel right there. And let's not forget his death immunity. Depending on his signature level, he can stay immune to death for up to 20 seconds. And guess what? That buff can't be nullified or staggered. It's just there. Add in his regen and power gain, and you've got one of the most annoying defenders in Marvel Contest of Champions. If you saw my top 5 most annoying defenders video, you already know Serpent is at the top of that list. He's a defensive god, and that's why he's sitting here at number 4. At number 3, we've got the absolute king of clutch moments, Hercules. This guy is insane. If you're trying to master intercepts, Herc is your go-to champion. What makes Hercules so special is his ability to stay immortal for an entire quest. Play him right, and he's basically immune to death. Add in his massive damage output and incredible utility, and you've got a champ who can carry you through the toughest content in the game. On top of that, he's tanky as hell. He can eat hits to the face and keep going like it's nothing. Hercules is your MVP for endgame content, and honestly, there's a reason why so many players swear by him. He's a powerhouse. Sliding into the number 2 spot is Cosmic Ghost Rider. Honestly, this guy needs no introduction. He's more relevant than almost any other champion in the game. CGR is an absolute offensive god. He crushes Legends runs and makes endgame content feel like a walk in the park. The critical damage he deals is just insane. Like, we're talking some of the craziest numbers in the game. Add in his superpower gain, crazy buffs, and double immunity to bleed and incinerate, and you've got a champ who's built to destroy. The only reason he's not taking the top spot? Defense. He's not as versatile defensively as some of the others on this list, but offensively, he's an absolute monster. And let's not forget, he looks cool as hell. And finally, taking the crown at number 1 is Hulkling. This guy is just on another level, both offensively and defensively. Hulkling brings insane damage to the table, thanks to his unique buffs that boost his attack rating. His block penetration is absolutely nuts, and his unblockable attacks are clutch in just about every fight. But what really sets Hulkling apart is his versatility. He's not just an offensive beast, he's a solid defender too. He's got regen, he counters a ton of annoying defenders, and he's just an all-around monster in any situation. Hulkling is the definition of a complete package, and that's why he's sitting at the top of this list. And there you have it, my top 5 cosmic champions in Marvel Contest of Champions. Alright, let's talk about the tech class. This is my take on the top 5 tech champions in Marvel Contest of Champions. And before anyone gets all heated, let me say, this is just my opinion, mixed with some insights from the community. It's completely fair to have different favorites, so if you've got a champ you think should have made the list, let's talk about it in the comments. Cool, let's get into it. Kicking things off at number 5, we've got Guardian. This guy is a powerhouse, always has been. The damage he can dish out is just ridiculous. He's got infinite damage potential because you can keep stacking those force field charges forever. And when you're ready to drop the hammer, boom, fire off that special 2 and watch the health bar disappear. We're talking god tier damage here. What makes him even crazier now is the introduction of relics. Slap a 6-star Hulkbuster relic on this dude, and he gets a shock vulnerability debuff that boosts shock potency by 4%. That means Guardian can shred through 500,000 health in one rotation. That's nuts. Plus, his utility is next level. He can't crit, so regen champs like Sinister don't stand a chance. Combine that with solid block proficiency and great base stats, and you've got yourself one hell of a tech champ. Guardian absolutely deserves this spot. Coming in at number 4, we've got the new kid on the block, Prowler. Dropped in 2024 and already shaking things up. Why? Simple, power control. When the opponent uses a special, Prowler drains whatever power they've got left to 0. Yeah, 0. That's complete fight control right there. And oh, it gets better. He also power locks them for a while. On top of that, he's bleed and incinerate immune, plus immune to falter effects. That's some serious survivability. And let's not forget the crazy rupture damage this guy can pump out. He's an absolute nightmare for champs like Domino. No crits, no problem. Prowler just gets the job done. For a champ this new to land in the top 5, you know he's got to be special. At number 3, we've got the comeback king, Red Skull. This guy used to be a meme, but after his buff, oh man, he's a whole different beast now. You do not mess with Red Skull when he's blocking. It's like punching a wall of spikes. Defensively, he's one of the most annoying champs to fight, but offensively, he's no slouch either. He's tanky, has solid damage, and that power drain from his heavy attacks can be clutch. Red Skull went from being the butt of every joke to a legit must-have champion. If you're still sleeping on him, you're missing out. Taking the runner-up spot is Shuri. And let me tell you, she's an absolute monster with those shocks. Passive shocks, debuff shocks, she's got them all, and they last the entire fight. She's like a ticking time bomb for her opponents, slowly melting them down until there's nothing left. But here's the kicker, Shuri's untouchable. She's a nightmare to land clean hits on. If you're gearing up for a long, grindy fight, Shuri is your go-to champ. She'll outlast and outdamage most opponents. Absolute beast. And finally, at number 1, we've got future AntMan. Now I know what you're thinking. Where's Ghost? Where's Nimrod? Where's Warlock? Trust me, I get it. But future AntMan just takes the cake with his insane kit. First, his signature ability. At max sig, he reduces the potency of all bleed and incinerate effects, even passives. Yeah, passives. And if the effect expires, boom, he heals 3% of his missing health. Oh, and if he takes more than 10% of his health in one hit, damage is capped and he regenerates 5% of his missing health. Combine that with his insane tankiness, and you've got a champion that shuts down some of the hardest hitters in the game. That means champs like CGR or Galen can't do squat against him. Offensively, he's no slouch either. His SP2 can dish out red numbers in the 30-40k range, and with proper power control, you'll dominate the fight from start to finish. Future AntMan isn't just number 1 for the tech class, he's redefining what a top-tier champion looks like. Try him out, and you'll see what I mean. And that's my list for the top 5 tech champions in Marvel Contest of Champions. And there you have it, the ultimate breakdown of the top 5 champions for every class in Marvel Contest of Champions. Now it's your turn. Who's your go-to champion? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed hanging out, hit that like button and subscribe for more MCOC content. I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.